I first thought that ChatGPT was just a bunch of humans texting me, but after I learned about it, I still think that is it. But some people say a large language model like ChatGPT works with a neural network, which is a brain but for the computer. A neural network has three parts: input, processing, and output. The LLM takes input from the user, then while processing, it tries to match the input with the dataset it has been given, and then after it matches, it provides an output. Now, a neural network, especially an LLM, needs a lot of data. But if the AI you are making is small, it does not need that much. A neural network works a lot like the brain. For example, when you study last night for a maths exam and when the test paper is given, the test paper is an input. And then you match the input with the dataset you have, then you provide an output. Now, as I said earlier, a neural network does not understand anything. But how can it not understand if it's working exactly like a brain? Well, after you study, you understand the topic, but a neural network memorizes it. So that's why it needs a lot of data compared to humans, since it does not have an understanding of its own. But how can we make a neural network in Python? Well, there is a storage function in Python called dictionaries, which are exactly what we need to make a basic neural network. Since dictionaries store many variables as their values, which is great because with them we can store a possible input from the user and make the response we need as values to them. Like if the user says hello, so its response should be hi. So there would be a variable created in the dictionary which stores the value of hello as hi. And the value doesn't only need to be a string, it can be an integer, float, or a function that tells time. Next, we need to actually make the main loop. For that, we will create a while true function which makes all the code run forever until the user exits the terminal. In the loop, we can ask the user's input and store it in lowercase. So even if the user makes hello all caps, starts it with a capital H or all lowercase, it will respond the same. And then we will check if the user's input is in the responses dictionary or not. If it is not, then we will use a module named fuzzy which checks if the input is close to a word or not on a rating of 100. So for example, if the user writes help instead of hello, it will still give out the same response. But if it's too different from every word in the responses dictionary, we will give out the response,
Sorry, I can't understand that.
Now let's code the neural network. First we will import time, then use fuzzy to import process, and to install fuzzy use pip install fuzzy. Then we will make our responses dictionary. Here we will add basic greetings and functions, but to add more data we will need to do web scraping. Also you can copy paste the time code from the description since it is too long to even write, but just know it gives the current time in military hours. Then inside the while true function, which is our main loop, we will put all the code in and try an exception function, as when the neural network can't answer a question, the program should not crash. Now we will ask the user for input with the user input variable and store it as lowercase. Then we will check if the input exactly matches the data in the responses dictionary, and if it did, it should print out the respective response. Now in the exception statement, which happens because the input does not exactly match with the responses dictionary, we will check how much is the input of the user related to the data and rate it on a scale of 1 to 100. And then we will add an if statement where it will check if the relation between the input and the data, and if it's greater than 80, then print out the response. Also, extremely high numbers will reduce the number of typos allowed, while extremely low numbers will allow more typos but then may give different answers to different questions. And then if that does not match, then we will print,
Sorry, I can't understand that. But also don't forget to like,